So, I don't know. I don't sound like one of those people on the radio. So, Ria. So, we're recording our first podcast. This is so unprofessional. We don't have any kind of intro music or anything like that. But, I want to start by saying I love you.
I love you too. Thank you for having me on your show.
My show. It's not my show.
This is your show.
This is the Ria show.
No, this is the Uche show.
I'm just a nut in your world trying to get... I'm just a squirrel. No, I'm not a nut. I'm a squirrel in your world trying to get a nut. So,
So, I was hoping that we can kick things off by telling the world just a little bit about us and how we met and what it's been like thus far and what are our goals and what are we trying to get to and what are we hoping to help people learn or to inspire to encourage them. So let's jump right into it.
Wow, you sound like a professional. What happened was, when did we meet? Where did we meet? We met at church. It wasn't my church.
It wasn't my church. We didn't officially meet, but we did see each other. I sighted you at church.
Like a sniper. I was in her scope.
Yeah, I saw the back of your head, and I saw that awesome blazer you were wearing, and your beard. Oh my gosh. I could see it from behind you. Like, it was just pooped out from the cheeks. And I was wondering who you were, because it felt like you were like me, like you didn't really go to that church. So I was like, well, maybe you're here for the same event.
So the event was the christening of a good friend of mine. Not his christening, but his daughter's christening. So they live out of town. We live in New York, and they were in town for the christening. And he had invited me months in advance. And that day before, I was out with my staff, being in school year. I think was that Labor Day weekend?
Yeah.
Labor Day weekend. So I was actually planning not to attend the service and just attend the brunch afterwards. Because I was tired, and that was just a long weekend. And so it was funny because I had no intention of going. As a matter of fact, I read the time wrong, and I went to the brunch location first at like 10 o'clock in the morning. Who does brunch at 10 o'clock in the morning? And then I realized I was in the wrong place, so I went to the church instead. And yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. I wasn't formally invited. I was invited by my best friend who knows the couple and the baby, and I was told I was going. So I remember thinking that we were going to be so late, and turns out we were actually the first ones from the group to get to the church. So it was definitely something that I just thought I was going to attend, and then after just head home. There was no intention of going to the actual brunch, but then we ended up at the brunch, and I remember seeing you in the church. I remember seeing you when you left the church.
First of all, I remember seeing you. First of all, I don't remember seeing you until way past the actual ceremony. So I was sitting, as she says, I was sitting ahead of her in the pews.
Yeah, like he was about two rows ahead of me.
And when they had called for the families and friends of the baby to be christened to come up, I did get up and I did walk out towards the back of the church and around, so I could get back to the center aisle to get to the front of the church. So I actually had walked past her row, and I did not see her at all. The funny thing is, I did see her best friend, who actually had gotten up to join us as part of the family crew for the christening. So we went up there, they did the blessings and everything. Went back to my seat, still did not see her. It wasn't until it was Communion Sunday. So they were passing the communion, but they weren't passing. They were calling people up to take communion. And I'm thinking, I'm not a member of this church, so I don't know what people's hands has been. So I wasn't going to go up for the communion, but I did get up to get out of the way so people could come out the aisle. And when I walked into the aisleway, I had to kind of step out of the way of other people trying to get past me. And that's when I actually saw Ria. And I was like, wow. She fine. But then it was church, and I just thought to myself, okay, I will probably never see this person again. So I continued the service, and at the end of the service, I left to go to the brunch.
Yeah, you should have seen what he looked like when he was getting out of that church. He just with when I say with the swiftness. Yeah, and
Running.
I was like, okay. Um, there was definitely something there, I want to say, because I saw you sitting ahead of me and I kept looking at the back of your head. I kept thinking, like, okay, I think he's there for the same thing. Okay, so then when I figured out that you were, because you got up to be a part of the family and friends for the dedication of the baby, and, you know, I was like, okay, cool. And when you left, I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess he's not coming to the brunch. And lo and behold, I get to the venue and you're sitting at the bar.
So yeah, so I was at the bar waiting for everybody else. Apparently, I got there before everyone else. So and then I don't think I noticed you when you walked in. Not quite yet. But I didn't notice my friend and then a couple of his other friends who were there, um, and then his wife. And then as they were setting up the tables, I looked and I was like, oh snap! There goes that pretty lady from the church sitting there. And but I didn't say anything at first. I just kind of like was at the bar with my friend and some of the other guys, and we're chatting. And at some point in time, I just had to, so I asked him. I was like, "Yo, bro, who that there?" And he was like, "Oh, that's Ria. That's so and so's cousin." I like, okay, yeah, she cool peoples. So I was like, okay, all right. So I left it at that. And then, but then his wife was like, "Are you going to eat? What you going to eat?" And I was like, "Yeah, whatever you order." So she ordered for me, but then the my spot at the table happened to be next to your best friend,
Yeah, right
and
next.
you were sitting on the other side of her.
Yes.
I did notice that. I was like, "Oh snap! Okay, just one seat away, one seat away." So yeah, you go. You can continue from that part.
Yeah, I
And don't lie now. You be telling lies.
Okay, so I noticed that there was a plate of food next to my best friend to the side of her. And I was like, whose plate of food? Because it was steak and eggs. And I'm like, whose plate of food is that? And I was just, I didn't really know that much people there. And I was just enjoying the food, enjoying, the people watching. You weren't too much in my view for me to look at you at the bar. I really had to like really turn to see you. But I know you were at the bar, and then I noticed you coming over and you sat down and you started eating. You didn't eat much. I felt like you took just a few bites. And I was like, okay. And my best friend was called away to take pictures with the rest of the family members and friends that were there. And I remember looking in their direction, which is looking away from you. And I felt you. And I felt like at that time I was in a space of, I don't want to talk to anybody right now. I don't want anybody like trying to talk to me. I just want to be me and God and just focus on that. Especially that weekend, Labor Day weekend, there was a church conference that I was attending, and I was just pretty much in that mood of, after work on Thursday going to church until like 12 midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. Friday going to church after work, staying all the way late hours, getting home, and then Saturday all day in church, and now Sunday, in church again for the baby dedication and at this brunch that was pretty much like a club.
And you were churched up.
Right. And, I was just in a space of, no, I'm just nervous. I just kind of want to be in a space of it's just me because it's safe.
But what did I do? I'm just sitting there trying to eat my steak and eggs.
Well, there was definitely a seat in between us.
That was empty.
That was empty. And I felt you. And I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to look in his direction. I'm just going to just keep looking at everybody else.
Wait a minute. So at church, you can have your sniper scope on me at church. I can have my sniper scope on you at the brunch.
I didn't
Mm-hmm.
say that. I was talking about me looking at you. You can
Okay.
look at me.
Okay.
Hey.
So I sat there and I was like legit nervous, and I don't get nervous, and I was legit nervous, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. So what did I do?
You, I think, I think at that point, I kind of did turn in your direction, but I wasn't looking at you, but I was in like the realm of your space where I felt like it was the the optimal time for you to just jump in and just like, excuse me. I think you did that. You were like, hello,
Hello, excuse me.
and you wanted to ask me something, and you said, can I ask you a question? And please let me know if this is,
Offensive.
yeah, and let me know if you're uncomfortable. It was the first time a man has ever approached me like this. And I was like, okay, like, let's see how this goes. And I remember giving you a look when I said, okay, like, come with it. And what did you say?
I think I asked you if you were seeing anyone.
Yeah, you asked me if I was in a relationship.
If you're in a relationship,
Straight to the point. Are you in a relationship?
Because if you are, I'm not messing with that. I can feel the churched upness in you. So God don't like ugly. So I definitely had to ask. And what did you say?
I said no.
Then what happened next?
We started talking.
We talked briefly.
Yeah.
Because I got called away to take more pictures.
Yeah.
And,
but before you got called away, it was still even though it was brief, it was. I felt like you were being, like, I don't think forward is the best word to use. You were straight to the point. Like, are you in a relationship?
Would you like to go out with me?
You didn't ask me out just yet, and you asked me my name.
What do you do?
What do I do? And that really interests you. You really were like, okay, what is the ad tech industry? And at that point, you moved closer because when I tell you guys this place was like a club, you really had to scream for the other person to hear you.
Danco Keys in Queens. It is a club.
And I remember being so nervous. I felt like I couldn't even look at you in your face. I felt like I was looking over your head, looking at your forehead.
You had your hair down, cover one eye. You had the Aaliyah thing going on.
Okay.
I remember. Mm-hmm.
And
churched up and sexy.
Okay. I remember you made me guess what your profession was, and you did this.
She tells the story the worst way possible. This is not how it happened.
This is exactly how it happens. Okay, first of all, he said it's the best and worst job.
It is.
And he also pushed the chair back just a bit, scoot, and puts his
across my legs.
You crossed your legs, but in a very manly way. And you did this thing where he put his hands up to his head and just said, "What do I look like?" And he, just imagine him, going right, like, what do I look like with his hands, going down his body? What do I look like?
Lies. Wow, I didn't do all that.
Yes, you did.
I don't remember.
Listen, guys, I know you can't see us just yet because this is just a podcast, but he got some muscles. He does look like he works out. But the first thing that came to my mind was, oh boy, this is a cop. So now I'm getting nervous.
She's trying to hide her weed.
Now I'm getting nervous because I'm like, he does look like a cop. And I'm like, I didn't want to say cop because I didn't want to be wrong. So I was thinking, so I was looking in the other direction and I was just repeating to myself, best and worst job. And, he said it. He's like, I am a principal. I'm a middle school principal. And I remember just thinking, like, wow, that's actually pretty cool. And I just remember also thinking, he looks so young to be a principal. Because normally, like, when you think of a principal, you think of, like, this old person.
Oh, white person balding.
Yeah. So then what else happened?
So I think because I knew things. I mean, I knew we were in a space where the conversation probably couldn't have gone any longer. Um, so I did ask her if she was willing to go out. I think I was forward in saying Wednesday. Was that? Was that the one who said Wednesday?
Yeah. Guys, so let me tell you how it went down. So basically, he got called away as well to take pictures. And so I was like, okay, wow, like, I'm safe. I was just nervous. I was just thinking of, like, oh my goodness, somebody's trying to talk to me. I'm very shy. So it's just like, whoa, this is too much. And so people noticed that he was talking to me. And
Everybody noticed.
they came over. My best friend came over. Shanette came over. And, they were like, oh, hello. So I see what's going on there. And they were like, Shanette, who is the wife of your friend.
Archie, yeah.
Right? And, she's like, he's a good guy, you should, he goes to work, he works out, he's a really, really good guy. You should go out with him. You should, if anything, it's a free meal.
True. That was a good free meal.
And I was just like, okay. So I was gonna go pay the bill. Like, they were going through the bill, and everyone was like dividing like what they had to pay. And so at that point, he was talking with the guys, and I walked past, and he did the, excuse me, like, hold on, I need to still talk to you. So we're standing and we're talking, and he said, it sounds like you do have a pretty hectic, work life, but, oh, actually, no. Not only did he ask me when we were sitting, if I was in a relationship, when we were standing and talking, he covered all ends. Are you dating anyone? Do you remember asking me? Why did you ask me that?
Because, so, for me, and I think we've talked about this, dating has two meanings in today's society. Dating is when you're making time to see, you're making point, you're scheduling time to see someone and different people. Nowadays, when people use the word dating, they're in a relationship. And it's like, it's like almost like the precursor to a relationship. So rather than saying I'm in a relationship, you say, oh yeah, I'm dating someone. So just asking somebody about a relationship is not enough. You gotta ask, are you dating someone too? And if they are dating someone, then you can ask, is it serious? Are you dating multiple people? Because for me, I have no problem with someone saying they're seeing multiple people, as long as it's not like I'm in a relationship with multiple people. So that was important, because for me, I need to make sure that if I was approaching you, that was in a very respectful place. I also knew what I was getting myself into. So, and that I would have that choice.
Very cool. So, he was asking me about my schedule and what day would work for me. He said, this week is pretty busy because it's the start of school. So he asked me what day, and I started rambling. I think I was saying, well, since we're off on Monday, then Tuesday is my Monday, and then, I think I was just rambling.
Yeah, you did.
To the point where he was just like, how about Wednesday? It was kind of embarrassing. It's just this thing I do. And the more you listen to this podcast, you probably will hear me ramble just a bit.
Me too.
And, he asked me where my office was, and, he was like, how about we meet in the middle or make it easier for you? And, he said this place, and I was like, okay. And, no, he said the day and time. Instead, he would text me, he would message me the location. So at that point, I, you know, my friend and I, we needed to like leave the brunch. We were still planning on going to church that day, so we were like, okay, well, we're heading out now. And literally, as soon as I got in the car, I already got a text message from you. And I was like, wow. And it was a date, a time, and the location. And I remember like Googling the location and just thinking, like, whoa, where are we going? This is Nancy. And I remember my best friend saying to me, oh, Ria, you got a man now. And she calls her mom, who is, I'm close with as well. And she tells her mom, Mommy, Ria got a man. And I just remember thinking, like, whoa, okay, I have a date. And I was really excited, super excited. I wasn't trying to think too much about it. But I remember feeling special because of the way you spoke to me. Your approach, it's very respectful. It was very kind. It was really wanting to know me and just take a very, you know, like, I don't know what word I can use.
For me, it was very important that in getting to know you, that this was happening in a space that could become uniquely ours. Um, and that's something that I felt even as we had conversations moving and we moved forward, even before our first date, is that we had these conversations and we would talk to each other. I always felt like it was just the two of us talking, no distractions. So I think me being serious about getting to know you meant that I had to, in my own way, let you know that this was something where there were no games. This was really about a man getting to know a woman, not a man wanting something from a woman. Because at the end of the day, we could get to know each other and there's nothing there, But I think just you knowing that I was serious in that fashion was very important to me. And that was my approach. I don't know if there's a word for it, but I mean, I was trying to be respectful, but also be extremely intentional and at least give you the feeling that I was serious.
I felt that, and I enjoyed our first conversation. I remember you texting me, sending me a message if it was okay to call me at a certain time. And
You were doing laundry.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was doing laundry, and um, you called at the right time. I was now coming back home, getting in the house, and I think we spoke for about 5 hours.
5 hours.
5 hours. And I I just wanted to tell you everything, and I wanted to also learn more about you. I enjoyed your stories. It just painted this picture in my mind every time your stories. It was just like, it's almost like I was there. So vivid the way you talk about your childhood and just like all these experiences that you've had.
That is something we have in common. I think we're naturally storytellers. So and having a conversation with someone who's very expressive and it's fun because I felt like we were playing tennis. You would tell me a story, I tell you a story. We were able to connect, make a lot of connections to our lives, and that I mean, people might say 5 hours on the phone. God damn! But the reality is that 5 hours it was a space where I was at home alone, you were at home alone. It was just us talking to each other and getting to know each other really well. Even though there's still so much more to learn about each other, just being able to make those connections and seeing those parallels in our lives, it it made me more curious and and more certain that I wanted to spend some time with this woman and really get to know her. And it was a great beginning. And this was before our first date.
Yeah, and you know, like you shared about how you were intentional in your approach. For me, I said to myself, if I'm going to do this, I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be my most authentic self. And before in the past, I've always felt like I had to either pretend to be something I'm not, whether it's me dumbing myself down or just really trying to act in a certain way, which is truly not me. And this time around, I just wanted to be me. I wanted you to know everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything, all my mistakes. I wanted to share with you the highlights of my life. I wanted to share with you what I was going through currently. I wanted to share with you. So me going into this was completely different from everything I've ever done. I prayed about it as well. And just I felt so comfortable. It felt so real. You know, I, t- that first date, oh my gosh, we had this, like our first couple dates, we had this thing where we would just not eat. Like we'll eat, but like it'll take us a while to eat. Like the waiter will come, we don't know what to order yet because we're so wrapped up in each other, just talking. And me, I liked looking at you.
Yeah, she does this thing where she'll just like, I call it a pause stare. And it's in the beginning it's kind of freaky because you're like, what is she thinking? And it's like she looks right through you. And with time now, I can see now that certain stares mean certain things. But definitely there was those pauses, and yeah, and we talked. I mean, I think it took us probably an hour before we ordered our meal, and then we were the last ones out there.
Yeah, we
We were
were.
the last ones out.
I think the waiter came by to ask us, like, how's the meal, guys? And he realized we didn't even touch it yet. He scolded us.
Yeah, is it okay?
He scolded us. He's like, you need to eat. It's getting cold. um, the first date was at a really nice place. And, it was still very, very warm and inviting in there. And I felt like we had our own little space and we were in our own little world. I was super nervous, super, super nervous because I didn't want to ramble on and on and on. And yeah.
So so that's how we met up until our first date. So right now we are about to hit the 30-minute mark. Actually, the 29-minute mark. And this is the first of a series of, I guess, our podcasts. So again, I'm Uche,
I'm Ria.
or you can just call us Uri,
Yuri.
or Uri,
Uri.
or
Okay.
Yuri, URI. I don't know, but the thing is, this is our opportunity to share with the world us, and we hope to make this go from not only being an audio podcast, but even a YouTube channel. Hopefully, you find something in this that speaks to you, and hopefully, our future vlogs and podcasts will do the same. Any last words for this episode?
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Come join us. We're going to have weekly for now, and then we're going to move to daily. So,
Daily? Wow.
okay, weekly. So come back, join us. We have a lot to share, and we hope to inspire someone out there. So come back. So we'll talk to you guys soon.
Love is real. God is real. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.